So in September of 2019, I discovered through Reddit and Facebook and YouTube that there are so many retro gamers out there, and they don't care how bad the graphics are or any of that kind of stuff by today's gaming standards, but they still love these games that they grew up with, and there's just like a really, really healthy community of retro gamers out there. So one of the biggest game genres in the 90s, as the hardware got better with graphics and memory, was the real-time strategy category. I started seeing comments like, has anyone made a new DOS game, or is anyone still developing them? So I thought to myself, well, how cool would a decent new DOS game be that could be played online with new and old machines? And I had worked with DJ, GPP and Allegro in the past, and so I thought, well, why not make a online DOS battleship game, real-time strategy game? So we developed a plot for the game, and I designed the layout of the menu and the user interface for the gameplay, and hired a graphics artist to design the menu art and the user interface elements, and we began coding the deadFX engine from there. And so this video is basically about the journey that the game Deadseas has taken so far in the last 18 months at the time of this video. So these are some of the sprites that have been designed and some of the weapons that you're going to see in the Deadseas game. It's taken a long time to get some of these animations done. As you can see, some of these are pretty detailed. So once we got a lot of those built, we decided to start building the deadFX engine, which uses some pretty old libraries along with some newer libraries to bring this game to life. This video here is a small clip of a very early stage of development after coding the deadFX engine. This shows the sprites moving along the screen with their transparent alpha in place to demonstrate that the engine was working to some degree. By around December 2020, the game had come quite far. All the game sprites had been created, which was a lot of work done by some really good, talented artists. And by this point, we had done the pathfinding and some of the gaming logic as well, and the menu user interface. So the first clip here demonstrates the gameplay user interface with the ability to rotate the map, hide the construction bar, and go back to the game lounge, as well as change your screen settings and sound settings and all that normal sort of stuff. The menu user interface was coming along, although it was not fully functional by this point. There was still plenty of work to do, but it was getting there. After a hiatus of about 3 or 4 months, we decided it was time to come back to start developing again, and we came back all fresh and ready to go. So you could now select a faction to play as and get a feel for unit speeds and weapons range for each vessel. A lot of gaming logic and attack logic and weapons firing was completed in this stage of development. Also random map generation for land for things like trees, fish, sea monsters and other commodities that you'll have to play to get in the game. And you could also now group ships together and append or assign a number to that group and call them to any area, and they would use that pathfinding to get around any obstacles they came across or attack any enemies along the way. also added things like Shroud or the Fog of War to the game, just to make it feel a bit more eerie and atmosphere. We finished off the construction bar and most of the elements for the in-game user interface. And it's actually a bit of fun to play the game now at this stage, but the one thing it's missing is the actual story side of the game. Which to me, personally, I always loved Command & Conquer because of the cutscenes and the EVA uplink, which made it feel like a really well-rounded game. So we decided it was time to draft up an intro film for the game, and it got us even more excited. So the intro scene starts off with a Nazi aircraft carrier making its way down from the Atlantic through the Bermuda Triangle to flee to South America, as many rumours suggested in World War II that a lot of his officers fled to South America. So Hitler and his men are celebrating their escape in their new undetectable ghost ship, and they pick up a plane flying towards them at great speeds, and Hitler freaks out and they go into red alert, and he gives the order to shoot down this plane. And as it gets closer, they fire at it, and they manage to basically to blow it up mid-air. And Hitler decides to go up and investigate, and he sees this weird plane spaceship thing screaming past and crash landed on a nearby island. So they go over to the island to investigate this weird spaceship plane thing, but nobody is on board, and there's a big red button flashing on like the dashboard. So Hitler decides to press that, because that's what you do when you see red buttons. And it says activated in German, which freaks him out, and then it shows a countdown with his ship targeted. So they flee back to their vessel, and the mysterious spaceship engages like this beam that shoots at their ship, and the ship is then teleported to the Deadseas, and then randomly the spaceship just explodes. So they're teleported to the Deadseas. Upon arriving, they look out to the distance and they see a whole variety of enemy ships coming towards them on the horizon. And it kind of just ends there, because it's kind of like, where are we, what's going on? So your job in the game is to figure out what's going on, and you can decrypt Morse code messages to obtain secret weapons and find a way out of the Deadseas, but it's not going to be as simple as that. It's not just going to be a game where you just sort of kill the bad guys and you go to the next level. Like, there's going to be a few challenges that you have to do as well.